Now, for most of us, this is a pretty exciting time of year, lots to look forward to, but not the Tamilos. They wanted nothing more than to enjoy a Kiwi Christmas, and instead they're facing deportation.
So they think it's completely unfair, and how's this for Christmas spirit? They say their problems all started with the pastor at the church that brought them over from Samoa in the first place. So Jill Higgins explains.
Talking to God is encouraged by the church. It's Jill Higgins from 7 Sharp. But it seems talking to Pastor Alofa or his wife Siepa, out of the question.
This is a message for Alofa. We'd really like to talk to you.
Hello, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
They're busy.
We try so many calls.
I don't think they're going to call back.
We try the church. Yes, this is the church.
Nobody there?
We visit their home.
Do you know where they are?
They've gone somewhere.
Do they know that these allegations are being made?
It's just rubbish.
So what do we know for sure?
On their letterhead, they're called Faith and Life-Changing Ministry, and it seems they are changing lives, but maybe for the worse.
That's the view of Tiave Tamilo. He's penniless, facing deportation, and blames the pastor.
This is my first time I'm suffering in this world.
How do your sons feel about leaving New Zealand?
Oh, it's very sad. It feels almost crying.
He says his downward spiral began with this church contract. It promised him great things if he came from Samoa to New Zealand.
Accommodation, he gave me $200 a weekly, and expenses, everything he promised.
But the promises of the good life weren't so great.
So the accommodation wasn't quite what they were expecting? One room for all 5 of them, just over the fence there in the pastor's house. Was it a room this size or?
Oh no, this size is too big.
And as for that $200 a week salary?
He never paid $200 a week, never. I do everything like dishwashing and clean the floor. And my kids, they clean all the toilet, clean everything. Everything they say, I do.
Without pay, so you were effectively like a slave. Tina Lale is from the Pacific Link charity that helps Pacific people facing difficulties.
Unfortunately, we've worked with other people from the same church, same problems.
So when you heard about Tiave's situation, what did you think?
It's sad, it's pathetic, it's just really, really, I don't know, disrespectful.
Tiave says the church held on to their passports, so he felt he couldn't leave.
They were in a vulnerable situation. They didn't understand their rights being in New Zealand.
For over a year, Tiave worked for free, and 10% of his wife's earnings went to the church. Eventually, they saved enough to leave and rent their own place.
One of the best tenants we've ever had.
The landlord's stepdad was so impressed he offered him a job at his tow bar company.
He was always on time, he was reliable as anything.
But just over 2 months ago, he had to let his favoured worker go. He found out Tiave had no work visa. Tiave had paid the church for renewal, but it wasn't done in time.
I was quite annoyed with what had gone on and how he'd been treated through this whole situation. It's totally unfair.
For a month we've been trying to get the church's side of the story.
Yeah, I'll pass that on. So it's 7 Sharp.
Finally, yesterday, we heard from the pastor's lawyer, saying they wouldn't talk because of an ongoing investigation. But Tiave still wants his complaints heard.
We came here and go through this situation. Oh, it's no good.
He doesn't want anyone else to go through this, nor does this Good Samaritan who's trying to help.
I would also like these kind of religious worker schemes or whatever they're called to be stopped.
It might all be too late for Tiave. They've asked immigration to reconsider, but it's not looking good. At least if he did get a reprieve, he's assured of a job.
If he gets his visa, his work visa, you'd want him back?
Next week. Next week for sure. Yeah, I want him back.
Well, good people are hard to come by for a start, so hopefully they can get that sorted out.
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Because there you're seeing that he was a good worker, and to work for a year and not get any pay sounds a bit dodgy to me.
And in church. So after a month, what we're doing here is we got, they ignored the calls as you saw in Jill's piece. They finally get back to us. And today their lawyer says the pastor and his wife, they're not to blame. They still don't want to talk because they're the subject of an MBIE investigation, but they say the problems are the family's fault, which funnily enough, a family dispute, of course.